everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 16th Walker episode review. I hope you're doing well, staying safe out there, being good to each other. It's been a while. It's been a very busy summer for me, and also these Walker hiatuses do not help me out, because for me it feels like I haven't done a Walker episode review in months, when in reality it's only been like 2 weeks. It's crazy, I know, and I'm not blaming the pandemic. I am kind of blaming the pandemic, as well as this show has a very different production schedule than normal, maybe because it's based in I really don't know, but this show's been crazy. We're still not out of the woods yet, even though technically we have 3 more episodes left. The show has another hiatus coming up again before the finale, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, I'm getting so tired. And I didn't even pay attention to when the next episode comes out, because I think we're off the air again until August, so I'm like, oof, actually, I think we are off in August, now that I think about it. But what can you do? But anyway, focusing on this week's episode of Walker, this is, again, another one of the, I've been talking about before, when we were consecutively talking about Walker, about the whole, this is all stuff that is bonus material. This is not necessarily part of the Season 1 overarching story, but this definitely does help flesh out the characters a little bit more, putting them in much more better, more developed places, so that when we do come back for Season 2 and we do have that, like, another big storyline to tackle on, these characters will have much more development going into it than had we just ended at episode 13. So this is the beneficial here, because there is no big threat to these episodes, these bonus episodes. There really isn't. Again, all the stuff in the first half is done. We're done with it, but we're not ready to quite tackle on a whole new problem yet. And definitely this episode definitely plants the seeds for potential stuff to see in Season 2, in my opinion. I don't exactly think this was the best of the bonus episodes. I do think this dips quite a bit. Especially this was kind of like one of those really lacking in Walker type thing. Like, he was in the episode, but he wasn't really there. And it's fine for the title hero not to be on the episode itself. Well, not the full focus, because again, even though like we get a show called The Flash, yeah, like this season, like we got a whole episode based on Agra. I can't. I'm sorry, I butcher names so many times, but you see what I mean? Like, you know, just because we have the title character doesn't mean every episode is going to be about the title character. So, anyway, with that being said, let's go through the butchered recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin with not gonna lie, a procedural generic drug bust where it's Captain James. He's off on a tippy top. He's watching a drug deal going down. Then we see Mickey with a bunch of other fellow rangers and officers ready to take this down. They wait just quite a little bit just to make sure the deal is fully completed and transacted. They run in. They catch all the dudes. The guy who was selling them the drugs was a bit finicky about the whole, not finicky, like a little bit defensive towards Mickey, say, hey, be careful here, watch yourself, don't do that. Like, definitely be acting like a dick. And when Captain James approaches them, apparently this guy is actually supposedly a police officer for the deal. No, he's a regular officer, a part of the narcotics unit. He was undercover, and they just blown it, supposedly. But Captain James basically said, hey, look, I know your record. You've done a lot of shady shit in the past, a lot of underground deals, which you pocketed money for while you were undercover. So you're not entirely out of the woods here, but, you know, we got enough here to supposedly convict you. So they presume, like, this is the end of him, but, like, oh, come on, it's a TV show. That we're literally getting this at the start of the episode. This is not the end, of course. This is really not the end. Meanwhile, over at the Walker house, since Walker's still on his quote-unquote leave of absence, he decides to teach Augie... Oh, why am I saying Augie? Austin. No, wait. August. It's been a while. August, the method of making a rocking chair and molding wood and stuff like that. And I really don't know what's up. I really don't know. It is kind of sweet to see Walker bond with his kids. Now they're like... The crisis and stuff has passed. They're all kind of... Also, Grandma and Grandpa Walker not on this week. They're probably back in the hotel room enjoying themselves, probably, if I'm going to assume. But Walker's just loving to spend time with his kids, teaching them some valuable life lessons and, you know, hard-working woodworking lessons, apparently. But Stella comes in, but they don't make it 2 chairs, so she kind of sitting left out a little bit here. And Liam comes over and Walker says, "Hey, you need an assistant for your campaign?" And Stella's like, "Nah, I'm out." Like, she's got nothing really going on this week. Well, she does, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Liam's a bit worried because, now that he's fully recovered and he's now back in the race fully, he's still a little bit worried because now he's back to full-on politics mode where it's about polls and making sure that he has enough supporters when it comes for the election. That sort of thing, and he's still trying to figure out a balance between all of them, and as well as he's thinking about his ex again, so we'll get to more of that in a second. So back at the Rangers base, I believe they're about to supposedly lay down the book on this guy, this corrupt officer. However, turns out a call comes in from the DA, I believe. Apparently the charges have been dropped, so he's free to go back to his policing duties. Once again, giving another smug reaction. Also, during this time period, this first segment, Mickey's a little bit, not worried, but a little bit left out that Captain James isn't giving her all the details she needs to know, since she was running point on the whole drug bust, but she wasn't really knowing the specifics about this guy, since apparently now they all know like this guy was a shady, dirty cop. Also, I have to be very careful now because if you're unaware, I moved my monitor up there to where as I could just take a look, and it's actually more easier on my neck because normally it would be down here. So I apologize if I'm doing this from now on. Get it? Okay. But James isn't ready to like let things in for Mickey just quite yet. But he basically pushes her off, saying that it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Just I'll let you know when it's time to know. But if this is Mickey we're talking about, she's not gonna stay quiet for long. Meanwhile, speaking of Mickey, back at the Mickey Trey residence, Trey got some news. He got admitted to the school he wanted to go to so he could study to be a surgeon. But he's still a bit unsure of himself because of his head injury. So there's a chance he might not be able to even drive again, as we know already from the many weeks we've gotten that literal running statement. And also, he is apparently also worried that he might screw up during surgery. So he's a bit unsure of himself, even when Mickey gives him like a custom-made, doctor's coat with his name on it. It's Mickey's going to be a perfect wife to him someday, but now's not the time. Now's not the time. But Trey's still unsure of himself. He's going to wait till after his next checkup at the VA office to see if he's fully ready to go and that sort of thing, but I'm getting the vibe off him. He really doesn't want to do this. He really doesn't. He's changed his mind on the matter. Going onward from there, I believe. Yeah, that's the thing. We got so many storylines here, and we also got a brand new character in the form of DJ, DJ, which is the son of Captain James. And I completely forgot. James was married at one point, but he got divorced. And they definitely set DJ up in this episode. I'll say this that much. He's going to be recurring next season. I do believe, and there's a certain throwaway line he says at the end of this episode where he says, like, I'm going to go away for a while, but I'll be back pretty soon. Like, definitely that means he's going to come back for season 2. This is definitely setting up the seeds for a new character. Maybe he's going to move back into town full-time for his dad, that sort of thing. He mostly has interaction with Stella this episode, definitely setting up something of a friendship, maybe a follow-up romance, because come on, this is the CW we're talking about. You introduce an attractive girl next to an attractive guy together, you're gonna basically either make them the bestest friends of the world or they're gonna be a couple. And considering, I'd be fine with either or. I'd be fine. I think it would be nice for Walker and James to briefly consider, what if our kids do get married? That makes us brothers. That would be more ironic, but will it actually happen? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But there's a lot of storylines. I'm going to go break them down because it's so hard for me to like jump back and forth. And as always, I'm watching this late. I couldn't watch it last night live because I was at a wedding for my best friend. It was a beautiful wedding. I love him so much. I love his new wife. But I could not watch Walker. I literally got home last night at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, people are sleeping. I don't think I'm going to do the review then. So I apologize if my brain is like literally being stretched to the maximum here. So apologies there. So anyway, so we're going to split it off. We're going to go for Liam's storyline first. Liam, while he's doing the polls, decides to pay a visit to his ex, who's, I think, back in town again, even though technically he said like he wanted him to go back to New York. Apparently he's still in town and he's found a new guy already. Jesus, you let Liam literally nearly died when you broke up with him, and now you're with someone new. Like, that is way too fast, and definitely that just seems like to be like a rebound type thing. But I really feel sorry for Liam here. I really do. They do not end their conversation well. Liam leaves prematurely. Liam does help out in the whole corrupt officer case, so we'll get back to more about him in a second. I do believe, yeah, DJ's Bates, I think he's just visiting as per his orders from the divorce. I'm presuming that he's got to stay with his dad for a little bit. So DJ decides to visit Stella. They've been friends, obviously, because of their fathers. Obviously, they were going to get to know each other at some point. And I'm pretty sure DJ's kind of like caught up on the whole situation with the Walkers, especially with Stella and damn, I forgot his name already. The other guy, I forgot his name. With him already, so Stella's kind of like really unsure what to do next. I mean, she's going to graduate high school the following year, so it's time for her to start thinking of her future. And he pitches the idea, hey, why don't we, go look at a potential college nearby, make it a trip. We get to just, hang out a bit, just like get our mind off things. And she's down. She's willing to go. So I believe they do get through that, but before we get to that, during the dirty cop stuff, James does pay Walker a visit at his new bar. He brings along, that's where DJ comes along too. And while they were talking in the bar, outside the bar, James's car catches on fire with the word traitor written all over it. And obviously they know who it is, but obviously because of reasons, legal reasons, law reasons, they can't immediately arrest the dude because they have no physical evidence against him. Even Walker in the scene was kind of like acting like he's still a ranger, but all James told him to do, like, just drop a kid off home. Like, you're not an officer anymore. You have no jurisdiction. You have no authority here. Just go home. So he does that. Mickey once again berates him for like, let me know what's going on. You need to let me in, and he's still like, let it go. Don't worry about it. Because then later on, because Mickey and both him and Mickey knew who did it, they decided to go to the guy's house. Hopefully they catch him in the act. And he is in the middle of a big meeting, and hopefully Mickey was going to try and, eavesdrop in there. But James, ironically, also thinks the same way, but stops her from doing so. But before they can, like, make their escape, everyone comes barreling out. And I got a little scared at this moment, like, was this going to be some confrontation issue? Like, let's just clean up the issues right here, right now. But they don't. They just let them go. But he does give a warning to James that, like, you're really poking at the wrong bear here. You're going to not like the retaliation, which is not going to be a good one since the next day Stella and DJ are heading off to the college to visit. But halfway through, DJ gets pulled over by that cop specifically. And during that time period, shady cop stuff, he just basically plants drugs on his pocket, and then that's enough to get him, like, ranged up. Stella's managed to catch a video of, like, the whole thing, but not sadly of the part where he's putting in the thing in his pocket, which again would have been really great if Stella had just been there just a tad sooner, just a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? DJ gets taken away, but of course quickly James goes in to bail him out. But obviously, even though James, like, tells him, I know you didn't do this, it's just this guy getting back at me, DJ's just really mad that, like, the only reason why I ever felt safe on the streets, even though I'm going to say, they said it in this episode, like, they're black, so, like, they're going to have some discrimination against them, even in 2021, because it's obviously still an issue, sadly, that we have in our society right now. And the only reason he was able to be more comfortable on the streets is that my father is the captain of a police department, so I should be safe. But then in reality, he isn't. And James feels awful because, as a father and as an officer, he's letting him down. Oh my God. I haven't had honey bush tea in a long time. This is popping. I apologize. This is not the tea reviewing show. This is a TV show. Well, it's a show reviewing TV show. Anyway. Despite this, James had enough. He brings in both a detective, Mickey, and as well as Liam to let them out on the case. Like, look, this is what I've been doing. I've known about this dude for years. I've collected enough evidence to supposedly put him behind bars, but the DA won't prosecute him. It just is not enough. So he believes there's something even more shady going on at the DA's office, and Liam is going to go and check in on them, while James and Mickey has to figure out some other recourse to take him down, because now that he's being targeted directly by him, like there's a really big threatening and definitely a safety concern for him and his family. So then at some point, yeah, Walker does talk to Stella about things, and about the whole, like, moving on, that type of thing. But then Stella's just basically being honest with him, like, you're not retired. Like, you still have your gun holster. You still act like you're a ranger. You basically are a ranger. You just don't have the title anymore because you signed it away. And yes, Walker being back at home was a good choice. It was a good option, but his kids are like, we're good now. We kind of, are over things. Like, we can take things from here if we have any more problems. You can go back to work and, help people, save lives, that sort of thing. And again, in Walker fashion, like, okay, I believe you, but I'm going to wait on August. And August is like, yes, please go back to work, my man. I had enough of standing chairs for one lifetime. Go back to work. And that's enough for Walker to, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna head back to work. So Liam does have a talk with the DA about things, and the DA is obviously going to be a shady motherfucker. He knows he's corrupt. He knows he's hiding something. But Liam basically tells him, like, look, I'm not going to stop this. I'm not going to back down. Like, he threatened someone close to my family. He's going to get it one way or another. Either you do the right thing or I'm going to do it. And thankfully he does the right thing and actually approves everything. Also, when James and Mickey are thinking of a backup plan to take him down, Walker comes in and basically says, I'm back. Or at least I want to be back. So please let me back in. And obviously, paperwork-wise, it's not even finished yet. But they legally, in a law, not law, like in an oath type thing, make Walker back a ranger. So however, once Liam manages to convince the DA to let the charges go through, James does like a dickish thing where, like, he's eating his breakfast at the diner, and James is like, "Yeah, you're gonna get it soon," and he's like, "I'm not. I'm good. I'm safe." And then it's even on the news, and he's still like, "I'll get out by lunch." But then the reality starts setting in. It's like, no, you're fucked, dude. You're done. And all the cops start surrounding him, and he's like, "Damn, I'm gonna get out here for the back." And Walker just knew and just shoved. I think he shoved the trash can in front of him, and he just falls. And I'm just, oh man, I really love that scene. That was a really funny ass scene. So they get the dude. Everything's solved. I believe we get some sort of anagram with, oh no, that's later on. Did we get anything else with this scene? I don't believe so. I really don't believe so. So he's charged in. Liam also goes back to the DA's office and kind of like, at least thank him for, like, finally seeing the error of his ways. But the DA is already packing his things, even though the election's not even over yet. Turns out he knows he's fucked up so much in office lately. He's not the right fit for office. So he's gonna work from home. Love that name drop reference. And he tells Liam, like, hey, if you win, be very careful. You need to know how to do the right things. How to do. Don't be like me. Don't get carried on the weight of this job. Please don't. You're gonna make a mistake. But Liam takes that with him. He actually goes back to his campaign headquarters. Does a little bit of a motivational speech to his troops. He also talks to his ex, and seemingly they're kind of mending things a little bit. They're kind of. It's not really the best, but it's like something is something. Back at the Walker Ranch, Walker and James just talk about just situation at hand. DJ tells them, yeah, I'm going to head back to my mom's for a bit, but I'll be back in town soon. I'll be back for season 2. Back at the bar that night. Also, yeah, at some point, I forgot, like, at some point during this, Walker and Trey has a moment together where Trey's just letting him know about everything, about, like, what things are doing, and Walker just gives him some plain old honest fatherly old man advice, basically, that sort of thing. But that leads to Trey. I believe Trey does end up saying, like, I don't want to be a surgeon right now, or I don't want to be a surgeon. I think that's where they left things off, I believe. This is exactly the problem. Like, I don't. This is the problem when I watch an episode too early in the morning and then I'm doing the review too late at night. This is the one problem with things. Back at the bar, they're celebrating the take down this corrupt officer. Walker, James, Mickey, and Liam for their success. and they're all shooting the shit, like just congratulating each other, giving each other advice, that sort of thing. And they're once again all like kind of short-legging Walker over the fact that technically he's a rookie again. That since the paperwork hasn't gone through, he's still technically a rookie, and Walker does not like that whatsoever. And that's where the episode ends. So for me, I think this was a good episode, an okay episode overall. I was kind of not a big of a fan of Walker already being back in the Texas Rangers. I feel like that would have been a big season 1 ender where we just see Walker and Mickey back on the town, heading back on cases, that sort of thing. I would have loved to see that as the end, but this was an okay reason to put him back up bring him back under his hat. And also, I just remember I forgot my hat. Oh God. Or it also could be just because I'm going into High School Musical in a bit, and I'm going to wrap this up quite soon. But so for me, I still think this was a really good episode. They definitely set up a lot of things for season 2, possibly down the line. Definitely giving more avenues for every character. Not Walker, because that kind of just wraps things up again for him. And yeah, so for me, I still enjoyed it. I really do. I think this was just a good bonus episode overall. The only thing I would have done different is push back Walker's return to the Force a little bit sooner, a little bit later down the line. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I can say. Overall, good episode overall. That's all I can say about it. Sorry if I sound a little bit hot-winded. It is really hot in New York right now. It's like 90 degrees, so I apologize. So I give this episode 1.5 thumbs up. So, with that being said, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. So, if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the first season of Walker. We're reviewing every episode of the first season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing overall, What's in the Tube, besides our Walker episode reviews, we're doing High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 2 episode reviews each and every Saturday mornings normally, after a brand new episode on Fridays on Disney+. Sadly, however, because of the wedding, I had to push everything back, so we'll get that review out tomorrow. Walker will be back. Oh, I forgot when Walker... I do not believe... I think I checked the schedule. Yeah, we're not back for a while. I think we don't come back to August until, like, the last 2 episodes, so... My bad. We have to wait again, but... Don't worry, we'll have a big month for Walker next month, so don't worry about that. But if you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next month for the last 2 episodes, the season 1 review, and then the season 2 predictions video. And then we'll be back again, doing all of this again in October, hopefully. So, with that being said, again, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX. Please subscribe, if you have not yet, to youtube.com/ActionX videos. Like, or share this review if you want to, but it helps us get it out there to other members of the Walker family who has yet to discover us. Helps us beat up that YouTube algorithm I hate ever so much, and of course, sharing is always for free here on the internet. Ring that bell for notification when our next video is live. Follow us on social media, including our brand new Instagram page, so let us know there. We're still improving things there, so please give us some suggestions. Let me know how you thought of this week's episode of Walker. I'm always open to conversations down below. But until then, till next time, everyone in the Walker family, I'll stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out. I got scared for a second, then I disconnected again.